Hey, what's up everybody? Bdf 44 coming at you with another video. All right, man. I asked the Lord to give me the words, man. Obviously, we're dealing with a lot in this world right now. I haven't really been on camera talking too much about anything because I've been in the house, man. I've been in the house doing what I love to do, relaxing, making art, doing Lakers stuff, keeping my mind off of all these crazy things going on in the world. Actually, that's not true, man. I've been doing a lot of paying attention to people talking about a lot of the stuff that's going on in the world. To be honest with you, it's kind of the opposite, really. That was word salad. The truth is, I've been paying attention to people a little more than usual in regards to what's going on. And, you know, I wonder sometimes if I retain information properly. I don't think I do. I don't have a great memory. So I'm definitely not somebody you've ever come to for details in what's going on in the world. Or that's never been my thing, giving you details and running down information. That's not me. I'm not a journalist, y'all know that. I'm just a talking head with an opinion and experience in life. You know, some experiences that as we all have in our walk of life. And so that's just what I want to say starting off this video. I'm very thankful that we're in a new month, even though this month is not going great for a lot of people, man. But for myself, I can't complain. Dealing with a little bit of an injury in my glute area. It's been, I don't know if I tore something. It might be a slight tear in my back right pocket, so to speak, that area. But it hasn't been debilitating or anything, but it has been something that I've struggled with when I stretch, struggle when I sit down. And it's just a little slight discomfort when I'm walking right now, but it ain't nothing that's keeping me from doing literally everything that I normally do. In fact, more of it in some ways. Stretching is what it caused it, I believe. So just, you know, trying to see if I can, you know, let it heal a little bit. That's what I've been doing. I haven't done my Hunnits Blue in almost a week, trying to let that heal some. At least that's what I'm telling myself. I actually been lazy when it comes to that. But I've been doing my morning squats and stuff like that, so it's not, I'm not doing the greatest job. But I think it feels better than it did when it first started. So I guess it's healing, but it's healing slow. So that's also what I'm dealing with. Of course, this upcoming Thursday is the day I move on from this room. I paid for my motel room already, so that's already out the way. And today I got to do some grocery shopping. So that's what this outing is about. Getting to Hollywood, we'll climb a hill or something, fill up the backpack, do the normal stuff that I was doing as a routine last year that I haven't done as frequently this year. But would like to get back into it and build that strength. So yeah, man, feeling pretty good. This is the first walk I've had in a few days, and like I said, they haven't been coming very frequently, but I think it's time to get out. I do have a playlist to make art for. The Delete CD 449 was complete. It wasn't the greatest release week for music, but I did find some type of like R&B-ish type stuff. It's okay, but it's not great music, honestly. So I just did the best I could with what I had there, and you know, that'll be done. I'll get the art done. I could have done it today, but it's just time to get out, man. I stayed in yesterday because the Lakers had an early game, and of course, being that it was Sunday, it was also Bible study, so it didn't allow for me to get out. Saturday and throughout the course of this week, I've just been doing art for all these playlists that I had backed up. Finally got caught up, and then made another playlist on, I believe it was Fridays. I used the day to kind of sort through the music and stuff like that. A lot of sleeping, a lot of relaxing, trying to discipline myself against spending money, that kind of thing. You know, just trying to stay disciplined, man. Winning these battles against poor food decisions. I haven't bought any outdoor food. I had a taste for different things and just didn't do it. As I've been telling you guys, I've been great about that all year long. So, you know, that's just what's going on with me, man. Nothing too serious. They did re-up my GR fund. At least I think they did. I know they re-up my CalFresh fund. And they put more in it this month than they did last month. So I know they're going to try to come back and say, oh, we didn't. Just like they were trying to do last month, but then actually didn't do. They were essentially saying, you got to pay some money back. I guess they updated it and they decided to throw more money. I don't know what they're doing, but I'm happy that I have enough money to take care of what I need this month. And that's really all that matters, especially with the economy being as hurting as it's about to be, man. AMC, from what I understand, is going out of business. Probably not the greatest place to have stock right now. It's been drying out all year. Something I've been paying attention to throughout the course since basically October. It's just been on a nosedive, and I heard that the company might be going out of business, but I don't know what that means for all of us apes, because there are people out here who have nothing. They don't care nothing about the business. They're holding the shares, and so that's just something that I heard this morning. I tried to do a little homework on, but not too much. So it's little stuff like that, man, have kept my interest. But nothing more than what's going on in the world with the war, man. And last night I watched something that was made about 2 years ago or a year ago on Iran, and it was just showing a whole hour of different wondrous places in Iran, and it was showing all these different wonderful things about Iran. And you know, it had nothing to do with any conflict or anything. It was showing us actually the beauty of that country and the culture. And it's just so much intricate, detailed art in all of their places of worship. I mean, beautiful landscapes, weather differences, the hottest place ever recorded, the hottest temperature ever recorded on land was in one of their deserts. They got high peaks with ridiculous altitude like we have here in Denver. Out there with snow, and they got rainforest that looks like Southeast Asia, all in one continent, all in one country, slab of land. You're gonna find, sort of like America, so many different things. But for them, it's so much beauty out there in that country, man. So much ancient beauty. Some of their neighborhoods are like 7,000 year old. Like stuff that's unheard of for us, since our country's only what, 500-600 years old, whatever it is. They got stuff that spans back to the tens, 1000 AD like type stuff. Just amazing. Absolutely beautiful country, man. And I'm not really well versed in different countries. You know, I could go down that rabbit hole with every country and probably find a lot of beauty, but for what I've seen, that might be one of the most beautiful countries in the world right there. That was really, really amazing. And for me, I just say, man, I really hope that Israel and America are not successful in destroying that country, because they're going to be ruining things that have been in place for nearly a millennia, honestly. No bullcrap. Ancient spaces that have been kept up for almost 1,000 years or longer than 1,000 years in some cases. So much enriched history with those people and what they have kept up. They got caves that are turned into literal homes that are built like out of caves of clay. It's just so much wondrous and amazing beauty, man. And it's a place you would, because of the propaganda of our country toward the Middle East, never dream of going. I guess that's the purpose of what it is I'm saying. I was never taught to ever desire to go to Iran. When you think of Iran, you think of war, you think of their green flag, you think of all the propaganda that's been placed upon the world in regards to Iran. Maybe if you're a little more cultured, you think of Persian rugs. Think of a video game I used to play when I was a kid called Prince of Persia, which drove me crazy. But the correlation between the word Persia and Iran, if you don't know any Iranian people, you're not going to even really realize that you're talking about Iran. You know, you're not going to really correlate that at all. And that's the problem with growing up in the Western world, where they have vilified Middle Eastern people so much that they made it so that you dream of going certain places in this world that are beautiful, but you would never think of Iran as one of those places. And now that I've watched that hour or so, that's one of the first places I'd like to visit. Problem is, if America has its way, that place ain't gonna be much beautiful much longer, because they're gonna destroy the hell out of the thing. They're gonna kill everybody. They're gonna make the atmosphere toxic. They've already begun to do that in Haifa, blowing up whatever they've blown up out there. That's bringing about a smog that's literally raining down acid rain upon the people. And the devil loves to destroy beautiful things, man. I tell you the truth. He loves to destroy beautiful things that are in place where people are devout to belief in God and look to follow God's will. That's really what it comes down to. The evil in this world wants to destroy beautiful things. They want to blow up all these temples that are filled with nothing but just wondrous, amazing art, wondrous lighting structures, in cooling systems that were way beyond what you would expect from the times that they were created. I mean, it's so much going on in that place that we will never know, that we would be so enriched and appreciative of. Things that we can draw from, that culture and different things that we could take from. We don't know nothing about that because we're too busy listening to people tell us, oh, bad guys over there. Oh, they're the enemy. Oh, they got bombs pointed in our direction. And people got a whole world over there ain't even thinking about us. We're, America, thinking about them. We're picking fights with them. We're telling lies about them. They're not even looking over here. When you look at what they had going on in that little 1 hour video I watched alone, man, you ain't thinking about no damn America. Let's just be honest. You're not thinking about us. We all the way over here with our ways of doing things. They're not thinking about us. And I tell you, man, that's one of the most beautiful countries in the world, man. I'm telling you the truth. And none of us ever even want to go there. And it's because of all that we've been told about them, theirs, of people, which is lies, man. Lies, like they always do. They lie about everybody. They lie about everybody, man. Everybody, including themselves, they lying about. White supremacy has robbed the world of its peace. Okay? Let me just tell y'all what's in my heart to say. And this is the truth. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to listen to what comes out of my mouth, and they may think that I'm not, thinking it all the way through or whatever. But I've had a lot of time to think about this over the last 3 years. And especially over the last several months as I've been paying attention to what's transpired with Iran. And I learn and I listen and I pay attention and I watch. And the one thing that I can just say that I've taken from everything that I've paid attention to, all of the information that's come my way from independent media, all the different things that I've been looking at, everywhere I find my information, the one thing that just it's very simply easy to sum up is white supremacy has robbed the world of its peace. And that if not for the presence of this entity, this world would be run so much smoother, and it would be so much more life here, man. So much more life here. They have taken so many lives. They have created so many wars just for the sake of the evil that they serve in the dark. Evil that they serve in the dark, man. Pretending to be either atheists or of a certain major religion. One of the three major religions, Judaism, Christianity, or Muslim. They've pretended to be all of these people. And secretly they've been serving Satan, and Satan's interest is to destroy beautiful things and break the heart of the Lord. That's it. And that is exactly what white supremacy has been on for thousands of years. And I know there's a lot of white people that don't believe this. They don't want to hear this. They don't see this in themselves. But as we continue to pay attention to what it is that transpired from all of the things that y'all people have done, that's the only conclusion any righteous mind could come to. You start finding out the practices that y'all been engaging in and the different things that you've done in the dark, in alliance with one another. It's just the evil that walks the earth, man. It just is what it is. And if you don't want to be that, you got a lot of people to join, because there are a lot of people who don't align with that. But there are a lot of things to unlearn, and a lot of those things that were in your history, a lot of things that you were taught generationally, some of the practices you may have been receiving from your ancestors, bring about this evil or normalize this evil or make excuses for this evil. And it requires good people to unlearn it so much to not reinforce more of the problem. You have to unlearn so much to not reinforce more of the problem. Parts of Israel are in ruins this morning. Parts of Israel are absolute ruins. You look at pictures, the few pictures that the Israeli government have not been able to seize, the few people who've been able to actually funnel footage to the rest of the world about what's going on there, you will understand that they're getting beat bad, man. They're getting beat real bad. And the thing about it that's so very sad, and there's not many things about this that is sad to most people who are paying attention to this, but what's really sad to me is that it's an ideology and a practice that these people have had placed upon them generationally that was only going to welcome this outcome. These things that they do, these practices of lying, these practices of hurting people, celebrating people dying, celebrating kids being slaughtered, labeling people terrorists and then being proactive in destroying them, saying you're better than everybody, rigging the world's government, hurting people, all these different things that they've been doing, they only welcome destruction, man. And it's a reason why the rest of the world does not subscribe to the things that they do. It's because we understand the consequences and the destruction that we welcome into our lives. When you're devoid of accountability, it's the same thing we say about children that go unpunished for their actions. You learn why other people don't do what it is that you don't hold yourself accountable for not doing. You understand why wisdom is something to follow, because with wisdom comes an avoidance of destruction. With learning lessons through other people's stories and your own experiences, you effectively avoid problems. By studying history, you avoid mistakes that have already been made. By engaging in humility, you welcome a peace from others that you don't get from being cocky, from being brash, from being proactively aggressive in your intentions toward displaying what you believe to be a better than within yourself toward others. A lot of us have, within our own communities, we've learned lessons that help us understand with this comes that, and we don't want that, so we better not do this. With this comes that and that, and those things they're not anything to want. They're not anything to take lightly. Those are not things you should want in your life. You should not want these things towards your community. You don't welcome these things into your life. You don't engage in this type of behavior. You don't necessarily view the world that way, because when you do, you position yourself a certain way, and then things come with that you shouldn't. All of us in our own collective world have learned our lessons. And we're watching Israel learn this lesson in real time. Picking fights with people they cannot beat. Creating unholy alliances with people that don't actually appreciate you. Thinking you can effectively blackmail an entire world of people. The group gatherings of individuals who are meant to govern the world. You blackmail them, you place in there who you want, people who are not going to hold you accountable, people who are not going to tell you not to do something. When you put those people in place, what you effectively welcome is what comes with it. So people aren't in a position to tell you, yo, don't pick a fight with them, you're going to lose. Yo, this is going to be a problem for you, you probably shouldn't do it. Yo, there's a reason why this is in place, and it's because it's to prevent that from happening. When you remove all of those who look to hold you accountable and you replace them all with yes men, what comes is whatever you understand versus whatever the consequences are for what it is that ultimately you're headed toward. You need people to check you and balance you, man. You need others who can help you make decisions that don't welcome things that you do not want, realities that you cannot handle. We say the same thing about celebrities. They surround themselves with nothing but yes men. And you know what ends up happening is whatever they don't understand is exactly what they're headed toward. Because nobody around them with any wisdom is able to help them avoid those consequences. They end up taking on bad PR struggles and, get involved in campaigns that fail them because they don't surround themselves with anybody who can say, yo, I know better. Listen to me. Follow what I'm telling you, and we're going to avoid something that you never should experience in the first place. What I'm sensing is that Israel, and even more so, people above Israel, who are pulling the strings on all of this, are engaging in behaviors that they're not wise to understand they should not engage in. Welcoming things into their circumference, welcoming a reputation that they do not want, much to their own chagrin in the end. And this is something that I think if you're wise enough, you know better. Which makes me wonder if the people at the top of this are not either one, individuals who are very young, who don't know any better, or individuals who are so drugged out of their damn minds and have so much unchecked power that they're incredibly out of touch to the point where they're welcoming things that 9 out of 10 of us would never, because we simply know better and they do not. Or individuals that truly want chaos and destruction upon the earth and don't care about their own reputation or anyone else's, so long as they can bring about that chaos. And this is what I think it's the latter, to be honest with you. I do believe it's the latter. I think it's a spiritual intention that these people have to follow the enemy of God and whatever brings about chaos and destruction to the world, and as much mistrust to the hearts of those who would otherwise trust, they're willing to do. I think that's what's going on there. But it could be somebody at the top who has all the money in the world, all the power in the world, and very little wisdom, who are not very connected to others as it pertains to being in touch enough to have simple conversations throughout the course of their lives that would help them avoid certain choices that they are making. Individuals who have lived in such a ridiculously privileged bubble that they're making decisions that 9 out of 10 individuals would never make. I think some variation of that is what's going on here, y'all. Some variation of that could be possible right now. That the person at the top of the food chain, as it pertains to everything we're paying attention to, really doesn't know much of nothing, but they have control over everybody. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was some type of bigwig who probably passed away and passed all of their power down to their child. And that child is now running things. And they don't know a thing. That's what this looks like to me. It's exactly what this looks like to me. And as I've been saying this in a different analogy so many different ways, it's like a child who's got control of a video game controller with the most powerful character or the most powerful team, and they're still losing. Now, if you give that same controller to someone who knows how to play, they're going to win. That analogy, it's more the same with what I'm saying right now. That's what it seems like. They're crashing into every damn thing, but they have control over every damn thing. Anything that can move things in the world, they have control over, but they are the last people that should be controlling things. That's what seems like is going on right now to me, man. And it seemed like that for almost 2 years. Maybe a little longer than that, actually, since the beginning of this genocide. It's like people just, whoever's in control, just not nearly as wise as they need to be, to not send this world into complete chaos. And I tell everybody who listen to me, man, God is real. He is. And a lot of what's happening is because he's real. If he didn't exist, some of what it is that we're seeing, we wouldn't see at all. And that's what I want people to believe and understand. Some of what it is that you're seeing right now is only because God exists. It's not because of the other way around. So, I don't know, man. As I look at what's going on in Iran, I see that they've just appointed Khomeini's son as new Ayatollah. And from what I understand, he lost, of course, his father, Khomeini's wife, either that was his mother or his stepmother, his wife. Khomeini lost a granddaughter. I don't know if this was his daughter or maybe his sibling's daughter, or maybe that's not how that goes. But point is, he lost some very, very close people in this strike that killed his dad, including his dad. And he's immediately taken over the reins of power in Iran. He hasn't had a second to mourn any of these people. He's taken over. And from what I understand, he's significantly more radical than his father ever was. Whatever that means. Radical. I don't even like using that word anymore, because at this point it speaks to a certain energy that we only apply to people who are not American. When you're American, you're a patriot and you behave in radical behavior. When you're Arab or you're some other type of brown or black, you're a terrorist, radical. I don't like it. It has a racist tone to it. But what I'm saying is, without the presence of all of the tragedy that this man has gone through, comes the understanding, the reputation that he is quote unquote more radical to begin with. And that is one of the reasons why we're seeing such a barrage of missiles flying at Israel in the way that it is. That if his father was still running things, I think it would be a bit more conservative in how they approach this situation. This guy's trying to turn Israel essentially into Gaza. Although it requires more than just rubble to do that. There are children there, many of which people don't care nothing about because they're engaging in evil ideology, being raised to be evil individuals, but there's children there. And I don't believe there's a world where I should be celebrating the destruction of children. Not even if I believe they're going to grow up to be terrorists. I don't subscribe to that ideology. Whether it's being pointed at my friends or my enemies, I don't subscribe to that. However, I'd be lying if I said I was crying for Israel as I'm watching all this bombing. I'm not. Because I understand they welcome this themselves. They welcome this. They killed a man and his granddaughter and his wife. They bombed a school full of several schools. Yeah, you welcome this. You welcomed it. You wanted this. You ordered this. That's like going to a restaurant, ordering something, and then being upset when they bring it to you exactly the way you ordered it. This is exactly what you ordered. It's what you asked for. You taunted, you maimed, you lied, you engaged in unwise behavior that welcomed hatred to you. Hell yeah, there's going to be destruction that follows that. That's what comes with that. That's why you don't do that. That's why you don't pick fights with people. Least of all individuals you cannot beat. If you can't fight, you shouldn't be picking fights. If you're outnumbered, you probably shouldn't be rushing toward those individuals. Be in your wise interest to respect your limitations, and when you don't, or you are delusional about what you are and who you are, then yeah, you're going to welcome what comes with doing things the wrong way. And it's interesting as well in a different light, because I'm watching new eyes learn lessons that I learned watching the genocide. Oh, we can't trust our media. We know that. We watch how they handle the genocide. That taught us the lesson you're learning now. So while you're learning this lesson, we're expecting nothing from these people. This is why it was so important for all of us to pay attention to what was going on in Palestine. I kept telling people, yo, pay attention to what's going on there, because it's going to give you an imprint of what these people's behaviors are like, what Israel and Zionist behavior is like. It's going to show you who's real and who's not. It exposed to us all who it is that's real and who's not. And there's a lot of people who are learning these lessons who unfortunately didn't get all of that revealed to them. So while they don't trust their media anymore, they still trust some of the characters who've already been exposed as corrupt, or expect out of some of those characters better behavior than what they're seeing out of Donald and Bibi. No. This is why it was so important to pay attention to that, because if you would have learned. You would have absolutely learned that that was not going to be something you could trust. You couldn't trust it. You couldn't trust those people. They were never going to be trustworthy. They'd already exposed themselves as untrustworthy. They'd already exposed that to all of us. This is what I was mentioning in one of my most recent videos about Kamala Harris. She already exposed to all of us that she wasn't to be trusted. AOC already exposed herself to be somebody we couldn't trust. Bernie Sanders already exposed himself to be somebody we couldn't trust. I never look for these people for anything anymore. Because when it was time for them to be on the right side of history as it pertains to that genocide, they were not. When we tried to raise awareness and appeal to them, of whom we thought maybe, just maybe, would see the fruit in listening to us, they gave us all the finger, all of these people. They aligned with the rhetoric of the people who were killing the children. They aligned with the rhetoric of the people who were doing the evil stuff. On one hand, we're watching the people that they are pandering to ignore what it is we're paying attention to, and we're watching the people they bow to engage in the demonic behaviors. It was all there, and nobody was paying attention. So I'm watching a lot of people who are saying, oh man, we don't trust Donald Trump because of what he's done with this war with Iran. Sit up here and try to make a conversation try to make the point rather that we should be ashamed of ourselves for not voting for Kamala Harris. Well, that's because you wasn't paying attention to Kamala Harris while that genocide was going on. You wasn't looking at the genocide and then looking over at Kamala at the same time like the rest of us were doing. We know. And that's what everyone should have been doing. That's what everyone should have been doing. All these practices that Israel's engaging in, when they drop leaflets in Lebanon, those of us who paid attention to the genocide already know what comes with that. We know what they're going to do next. When you see these people dropping bombs on schools in Iran, we already know what time it is with that. We're not sitting here speculating about who's behind that because we already seen that play run over there. I watched a guy get on his platform and apologize to all of us because he essentially had to redact his thought about the bomb that came down on those children in Iran. I guess initially what his point was is that maybe it was mistaken. Maybe they got bad intel. You know, maybe it was actually an Iranian missile that misfired. We'd seen that play. They ran that in Gaza. They used that one before already. They did the whole, it wasn't us, it was the resistance who bombed their own people accidentally in a misfire. That's not even a new play in this situation. So when they ran it in Iran, we're like, yeah, we know who it is now because we've seen this movie before. We've seen this movie. We know this play. We saw this one already. We watched y'all use the same lie already. No new news there. We watch you bomb children indiscriminately. We watch you run up in hospitals saying that you were looking for terrorists when there was no terrorists to be found, just a bunch of innocent people. We watched all of that, and that's the point. It was like that information, that data was necessary for what it is you're witnessing now. So you know how ugly it can get. You know how evil they are. When you watching what they did in Gaza in them hospitals, when they were leaving those fetuses to just like literally starve in incubators, you understand how far they'll take it with this. You're not wondering if it could have possibly been a misfired missile from Iran because you've already seen that play. You know they have a bloodthirst for children because you've already watched them do it. This American indifference is leaving us without the information that we need. This go about business as usual while the others in the world suffer. It's leaving you without the imprint and the blueprint of what it is that your enemy is ultimately interested in doing to you. You need to know what's going on over there so you know what they're going to do here. And that's what I've been trying to express to people for over 2 years. This is not new, friends. None of it. None of these plays are new. They've done all of this. All of it. To Gazans. All of it. And it's a lot uglier than you think. You would have to have seen some of the ugliness to actually fathom it. That's the context that's missing as well. Because y'all have an optimism about the Israelis, like, oh, if they get what they want, they probably just calm down and relax. No, they won't. We've seen how relentless they are. We've seen how repeated they are with running the same plays. We've seen how they will bomb a place, then wait for the first responders to get there, and then bomb it again while the first responders are in there. We've seen it. We know the plays. And then proceed to say, well, it was just collateral damage for the 3 terrorists we were trying to kill. There's no terrorists in there. Well, everybody's a terrorist technically if you're in there, so therefore there's no innocence there. We've seen all the plays. And we saw anytime they got unhappy, anytime they lost a battle, they go take it out on some unsuspecting innocent people. Neighborhood full of innocent people. If they getting their ass whooped out in the field, the first thing they do is turn a bomb to an innocent household and destroy it. This is the plays they run. This is how they operate. They throw fits. They throw tantrums. They do petty stuff. They lie about everything, even when it doesn't benefit them to do so. They tell a lie just because it's there to tell. Like, this was so illustrated, so very clearly for all of us who were paying attention to that genocide, man. So we don't waste any time, any mental time, wondering about things that you're seeing right now. Well, gee, could it be this? Could it be that? No, it's definitely this. We can move on to different thoughts. No, it's definitely that. This is what they do. We know that. And so that's what I want to share with people. It's just, it's interesting, but it's not, because I've seen this on so many different layers as a black person. So many people did not pay any attention to our plights in various different situations that took place with us. And now it's happening to you. It's like, oh my God, what the hell is this? When did the world become this way? It was always this way. They was just doing it to us. You didn't care. And you want us to act surprised. But we've already seen these plays run. We know how they're going to behave in certain situations. We know what they do when they're losers. We know what they do when things get tight. We know how they run when they actually run into people who can actually fight. We see how they lose. And in losing, turn their attention to people they can beat up and terrorize them. We've seen all of the plays. We know what they do. We know what they do. And you would know too if you paid attention to what we were paying attention to, what we were telling you to pay attention to, what we were telling you was taking place there. That it wasn't just going on over there, that they were going to bring that to your doorstep. And now they are. Gas is going up to $9 a pop, destined to go up to $18 a pop. And they still picking a fight with this monster that they can't beat up. Underestimating its power, what its capabilities are. We've watched them do this with the resistance, thinking that they could beat up the resistance, that they could just keep stomping them out, and they're getting beat up in the field. And what did they do? They lied about what was happening to them. They suppressed anybody who told the truth. They killed all the press members who were showing the footage to the rest of the world of what was happening to them because they didn't want anybody to know how bad they were taking losses. Behavior repeated. All of it. You're seeing it now. Giving 5 years to anybody showing any damage in Israel. Pushing the press out so the press can't show people what's going on down there with the damage that they've taken. Same play, same psychology, same everything, same behavior. They didn't change at all. It's only been about a year and a half. The same people. And I've been telling you, I want people to go back and watch my videos. If this is the first one you've seen, go back and watch the ones I've been making over the last 2 years. All these damn therapy sessions, man. I've been telling people all of this. I've been telling you. This is what's there. This is why they're doing things. This is what I think they're going to do next. And the thing that I said last is the same thing I'm going to say to you now. These people, if they do have nuclear weapons, if they have them, and many people believe they do, if they have them, I believe they're going to turn them on innocent people. They're not going to use nukes on military targets. They're going to use nukes on civilian targets. Because that's how they act when they're losing. That's how they truly get their kicks off, their fix in. They want to devastate and demoralize. It's not just about gaining power, gaining wealth, or gaining land. No. They're trying to please the enemy of God. They're trying to demoralize the innocence of the earth and deter anyone from a relationship with God. That is the bottom line of all of this. It's the absolute bottom line. They want to eat away at your resistance, your resilience. They want to make it so that you're so devastated that you make mistakes. They want to demoralize you by smearing you out to be something horrible and then trying to provoke you into mimicking that for which they've described you to be. Repeated behaviors, man. And they're taking some devastating losses right now because of these behaviors. So you know what they're going to do. I want everybody to say a prayer. If you're a believer in God, Allah, Buddha, whatever your thing is, if you're a person who doesn't hate, if you're a person who loves the world and loves the Lord and loves innocence and all that, do me the biggest favor and pray in your best way for everybody in harm's way, wherever they may stand or lay. Because at the end of the day, the enemy plans on taking a lot of people out in this process. A lot. This ain't gonna be no minor thing. And then 9 out of 10 times they're gonna blame somebody else for it. They're not gonna say they took credit for it. They're not gonna do that. Taking credit for it requires an integrity about themselves they do not have. They don't have that integrity. They're going to blame somebody else for what it is. And it's going to be easily debunked. That's not going to hold much weight. Everybody's at that point, I'd imagine, going to know it's them. But that's not the point. They lie when they don't have to. They lie when you can easily see that their lies are bullshit. This is what they've proven time and time again on so many different levels and so many different conversations. And I'm telling you, this is not the time to not be aware, man. It's not the time to be just eating up all the CNN slop, all the Fox News slop. This is not the time to be listening to no Western world Jewish-owned media. They are not going to tell the truth. They're not going to tell you what's going on there at all. You got to go to your own media sites. You got to go to independent media. You got to go to Instagram, TikToks, Snapchat. You need to get your media from these people in those spaces, because they're the only ones that are going to be without the umbrella of the Jew, who's essentially doing all this to you, doing all this to all these people. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, well, I mean, I don't believe that. And the only reason why you don't believe that is because you haven't been paying attention to what it is we've been paying attention to. It's not anything to quote unquote believe. It's already been proven. This is common knowledge. Can't trust these people. They already proven themselves to be liars. They've already been caught in a million lies. That's the key to all of this, to understand they've been caught in a million lies already, man. And a lot of what it is that you're frustrated with, whatever it is, your own communities, whatever circumstances, if you do your homework, you're going to trace it back to these same people, man. You're going to trace it back to, they armed whoever it was that came after you. They funded whoever it was that screwed you over. They weaseled you out of whatever opportunity. I mean, it seems like a weird conspiracy theory, but the more homework you do, you actually find it traces back to them. And they control the narrative of what it is you're about to learn. Whatever it is that you're listening to, they're telling you this. It's something that likely keeps you in that web. None of this is new if you follow me, man. None of this is new if you've been paying attention to the genocide. None of this is surprising to anybody that's actually following this thing, man. Nobody. Nobody's shocked by any of this. We know what to expect next. We know what they're gonna do. We know what they're doing now, man, and we know how far they'll take it. We know. And that's what I've been trying to prepare people for, man. How far they're willing to take this. They're at war with the truth, and they're at war with innocence. You keep these things in mind as you move forward and watch whatever they're about to do next. It's the two things they're at war with. The truth, whatever form or fashion it is, whatever honesty, whatever aligns words with reality, they hate it. They're at war with the truth, and they're at war with innocence. If it's an innocent child, animals, elderly, mentally ill, whatever is harmless, whatever means well in an innocent way of thinking, they hate that. They despise it. Whatever aligns with a living God, whatever, they hate all that. They despise all of that. Can't stand it. You better be compromised to some degree. You better have some sin on you. You better have something that makes it so that they can trust you. Otherwise, if you're unblemished, then they definitely can't. They live in a space of being forever tainted and compromised by sin, evil, wickedness, corruption, destruction, and the welcoming of such. And I'm telling you, do not take your eyes off of any of these places. Cuba, Somalia, Sudan, Romania, don't take your eyes off of any of these circumstances that have to do with these. Anything that the Jew has put his hands on outside of this country. Venezuela, anything that the Israel tried to place his flag on, Iran. Don't take your eyes off of any of them. Congo. Don't take your eyes off any of it. Learn as much as you can about these places and these people's plights as humanly possible to give you an understanding of what to expect next. Go back and do as much history as you can on the chattel slavery, trade, all of the different things that they had their hands in, because they repeated the behaviors that they're going to do next in those situations. They engage in behaviors that they're bound to do again. And you can stay a step ahead of these folks by learning about how they behaved in other situations. Nothing they do is new. Nothing at all they do is new. None of it. If you see them doing now, they've tried it before, and they likely deemed it worked, even if it didn't. They were pleased with the outcome, even if it hurt many of their own. You're dealing with pure evil, man. That's what you're dealing with these folks. It's pure evil. It can't really be rationalized around or with. It's not simply secular. It's not without some spiritual motivation. It is all very much spiritual. Always has been. And if they have their control over it, it always will. And that's why I tell people to align yourself with a relationship with God in whatever way you can, whatever righteous way you can. Find God, find Him, keep Him, get to know Him, walk with Him in everything that you do. Everything that you do going forward, because none of us are promised anything anymore, especially time. Bdf 44, I thank you all for watching. I'm out.